Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. It's that time. I'm going to do our recap and our instant reaction to all of our top 25 Week 5 college football games. We have a lot of upsets. We had a lot of top 25 teams going down. It was a hectic week. There's going to be some changes when the new AP poll comes out, and we're going to be here for all of it. First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on these games we had? It was a very interesting weekend. We loved every single minute of it. Drop your comment down below. I will respond to every comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, check out that pinned comment down there. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate it. We go over all these games every week, predictions, best bets, we do it all. Let's not waste any more time. We actually had 2 Friday night top 25 games. Very rare, and you know, with Friday nights, whenever you have the short week, Friday nights, Thursday nights, someone's always losing that's not supposed to lose. There's always some upset lurking on the horizon. Both top 25 teams went down that were playing Friday night. The very first one, the double overtime loss, Florida State versus Virginia. Florida State was number 8. They lost to Virginia. Now, we had Florida State on our upset alert during our upset alert video that came out Friday. Things just didn't look right. Right now, Florida State, they have Miami lurking up this coming weekend. They have them coming to Tallahassee. Seems like they might get caught looking at the next week ahead. They definitely did not look fully prepared to this game. Castellanos, good game. The passing game, there was some drop passes. There was that perceived touchdown there at the very end. Double overtime, guys. He bobbled the ball. It is what it is. It was not a catch. I saw it when it happened in real time. The guy didn't catch it. He bobbled it leaving the end zone. They had to change the call and call it incomplete. Morris for Virginia. This looks like an offense that was really ready to go. Florida State getting gashed on the ground, through the air. Definitely not that. It's kind of a momentum killer going into the Miami game. I was really wanting Florida State to win just solely for the fact that we could have a top 8 versus top 8 matchup. Florida State and Miami, both top 10 teams facing off undefeated. It would have been a fun game as just an unbiased football fan. But either way, it's still a big game. It's still one of the best rivalries in sports. And you had number 24 TCU. They had this game, and then at the very end, they lost to Arizona State. TCU, they were number 24. Arizona State might be coming back into the top 25. They might have to wait one more week. Their sole loss was to Mississippi State, which is a pretty decent loss because right now they're like 4-1, having a pretty good season themselves. Sam Leavitt did Sam Leavitt things. How about Tyson there? Almost 130 yards receiving. Brown on the ground, about 134 yards rushing. Sam Leavitt, 9 yards shy of 300 for the day. 2 passing touchdowns, but it was the plays they made in crunch time when they had to make plays. Their defense buckled down. TCU, they'll get booted out of the top 25. Hoover, there's some questionable holding the ball too long, staring down people in the fourth quarter. Arizona State, this is the Arizona State. This is the Sun Devils team some people were expecting to see preseason. They're still a front runner. They still have a pretty good shot to make the Big 12 championship, win the Big 12, and maybe even again make the playoffs again back-to-back seasons. The next games were our Saturday matches. We had number 1 Ohio State beating Washington. We said that this game was going to be close because Washington, pretty good defense, very good offense. They kept it close, but they were not able to move the ball against this Ohio State Buckeyes defense. They had the number 1 defense last season. They came into this game with the number 1 defense this season, only giving up 5.3 points per game. They gave up 6 this game, so obviously that's not going to change much. Sayin made the plays they had to. This was the second game where the Buckeyes really had to buckle down. This and the Texas game, and they had to own the line of scrimmage. They showed that they could do that versus the SEC. They showed that they can do it versus the Big Ten. They're still going to be number 1 probably when the new poll comes out. They're playing solid football right now. It's not the run game, though. I want them to concentrate on that run game. They got to get the ground and pound going. They're going to need it as they get deeper into Big Ten play, but as of right now, it's the defense continuing to dictate the pace of every single game for back-to-back seasons. Then you had the game of the day, the game day game, number 6 Oregon Ducks, 5-0, defeating number 3 Penn State, now 3-1. Oregon won in overtime, 30-24. Drew Allar's going to do Drew Aller things. It was kind of the script to how you exactly expected this game to end. Everything was in Penn State's favor. They're the veteran senior team this season, one of the best 1-2 running back combos. Allen, Singleton, they got Pena out of Syracuse. Drew Aller back for like his 3rd or 4th season as a full-time starter for the Nittany Lions. James Franklin really wanted this game. They had the nighttime atmosphere, the whiteout. Everything was crazy. They had the veteran-laden team, and they lost to Drew Aller with the pick. First down, overtime. Not a good look at all for Drew Aller, but we called this game. We said that Penn State was going to get upset. The Ducks were going to win. Although you have to say, the Ducks right now, they are playing like they might be the number 1 team, the best team in baseball. Would not be surprised at all if they're number 2 come the new AP poll. If not, worst case scenario, they at least have to take Penn State's spot at number 3. But they're physical at the line of scrimmage. Dante Moore, first season as a full-time starter against a top 5 defense, the number 3 defense in the nation. He went 29 of 39 for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That's what I want to see here. This guy is learning experience on the spot, becoming a veteran right before our eyes. The Big Ten is on notice here. The Ducks went undefeated in the regular season last year, won the Big Ten, first season in the Big Ten. They might be doing it again this year. They're going to give the Buckeyes a run for their money. Penn State here. You got to solve the Drew Waller problem. You lost Brabula. You let him leave the team, and Drew Waller is not impressive in any way whatsoever, but still a very good team nonetheless. Next game, number 4, LSU going down to Ole Miss. We did have LSU going down. No surprise there. They can't run the ball. If you can't run the ball in the SEC, you're not going to win games. Their offense is atrocious. I said last week, they've only scored more than 20 points one game this entire season, and that was versus an FCS team, and they scored 26 points. That is not going to cut it here. Here versus Ole Miss, they only put up 19. So again, what are they, 4-1? 4 of their 5 games, they have failed to score 20 points. The one time they did versus FCS. That is pathetic. This offense was supposed to be that foundational anchor to this team. Nussmeier back, running game, wide receiver core, offensive line. They have a very good defense. They have a top 10 defense right now. Year 2 under Blake Baker, the defense is rolling. The offense now, this team's completely went the opposite way. Used to be they would score 50 a game, but they'd give up 50. Now they only give up 10, but they can only score 9. They can't get both sides of the football on the field at the same time. But give Lane Kiffin's team some credit here. Chambliss in his 3rd start here with the Rebels, he pulls off a top 5 win. Ole Miss, maybe this is the season for them. They had the veteran-laden team last year. Trey Harris, Paris, Jackson Dart. They were not able to make the playoffs. Now they're almost halfway through the season. They're undefeated. They might make the playoffs this season. They have Lee, Lacey, Chambliss, really good defense right now. The defense is starting to grow into their own. They had a top 10 defense last season. Looked like they'd have a top 20, top 25 one right now, but both sides of the ball continue to play better, and it's Lane Kiffin. They're always going to score points. The next game, number 17, Alabama taking down number 5, the Georgia Bulldogs. A lot of issues with the Bulldogs. I didn't like the 4th-and-1 call. You can't really second-guess it, but that cost them a field goal there that would have tied the game. But nothing was worse than number 1 jumping 15 feet across the pile here to jump on top of the pile after the whistle was blown. Everybody knows, as I'm watching this game happen, I said, what the heck are you doing? Anyone who's ever watched football know that's an automatic flag when you jump on top of the pile like a maniac after the whistle. What the heck was he trying to do? I don't understand it. He cost his team a shot to come back and win, but it is what it is. The game honestly shouldn't have been that close. Georgia was at home, 33-game home winning streak, but we all know Kirby Smart, for some reason, Alabama, whether it's Saban, DeBoer, they got the kryptonite on Kirby Smart. He's now lost, 10 of his last 11 games versus the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama, they were able to run the ball when they needed to run the ball. Simpson is really starting to grow into his own, but obviously he fits the Kalen DeBoer offensive model that Grubbs wants to run, vertically pushing the ball down the field. Georgia, I say it every single video, I do not like the offense that Mike Bobo calls personally. And then you had one game that actually turned out to be a very close game. You had Auburn 3-2, Hugh Freeze going up to number 9, Texas A&M Aggies, going to College Station, playing the Aggies here. The Aggies, Mike Elko's team, they're disciplined, they're hard-nosed, they run the ball, they throw the ball, but they want to win the game in the line of trenches. Auburn, very good defense. Jackson Arnold, though, he's a running quarterback. He is what he is, 5-star coming out of high school. They're not going to beat you vertically pushing down the field. If you can stack that line, get good pressure from your front 7, Auburn, with Jackson Arnold at the helm, they cannot beat you vertically down the field, even though they have a very good wide receiver core, very good defense, one of the better run games in the country. Marcel Reed, what he's doing through the air, on the ground. He has Moss to back him up 140 yards. This team is way too talented here, but Auburn's defense, they were able to keep the game within reach, keep it close, not able to pull off the upset. Everyone's mad at Hugh Freeze right now, calling for the guy's job. The season's very early. Let's wait to see what happens. They still have a good defense. They still have a good ground game. Next game, number 11, Indiana, 5-0, going to Iowa, beating 3-2 Iowa, 20-15. A lot of people said that they were not happy that they didn't cover the spread, guys. It is what it is. They pulled off the win. Never underestimate the Hawkeyes. Kirk Ferentz, the longest tenured coach in the country. They always have a top 10, top 5 defense. They just play 1930s. pre-World War II style football. They slog the clock. They run grueling ground game, sucking up clock, controlling time of possession, 8 to 12-minute possessions every single time. They practically take up the whole quarter. It is an awful, painful thing to watch, but coming off that massive win versus the Fighting Illini last week, you had to be preparing yourself to not come out with the same urgency because you just beat a top 10 team at that time. They came out, they didn't play their best football, they still won the game. You knew that it was going to happen, but they didn't get upset. That's the primary thing here. Now they can reset, retool, get things back on track. Fernando Mendoza continues to do what he's doing, leads the nation in passing touchdowns, still has, as of yet, to throw an interception. All Curt Cignetti does is win. The guy says it all the time. And then you had 3-1 Arizona going down to number 14 Iowa State. The game was close for maybe the first quarter, maybe into the second half of the second quarter. And then Iowa State, Rocco Beck, third year in the scheme. They flexed their muscles. They pushed away. They won it 39-14. Iowa State, some people were picking them for the potential upset here. This is Matt Campbell. They are disciplined. Yes, there could be an upset somewhere lurking on their schedule right now, but they're almost halfway through the season. 5-0. If they go 10-2, they won 10 games last season. They're going to put themselves into a position for back-to-back seasons to be competing for the Big 12 title. If you win the Big 12, you get into the playoffs. Then after that, you had number 15, Tennessee, 4-1, beating Mississippi State, also 4-1. This was a heck of a game. Mississippi State, give Jeff Lebby some props. This team came out of nowhere. They had 70 transfer portal players on the roster. They beat Arizona State. They've been playing really good football. They've been playing really good defense. They got into a shootout here with a top 15 Tennessee team. Tennessee's defense, though, I will say this. Their offense, Joey Aguilar, they are scoring at will. He had 335 yards passing, 1 touchdown. They have a great young wide receiver core, really big wide receivers. They had a top 10 defense last season, getting a lot of pressure, top 10 in sacks, tackles for a loss, quarterback pressures. They definitely do not have a top 10 defense. They are giving up like 33 points a game right now in SEC play. That's not going to cut it here. They continue to win, but their defense let them down. It actually cost them the Georgia game, or they'd be undefeated, a top 10 team right now. The defense, no matter who they play, if they play a good Power 4 team, they are giving up 30-plus points per game. Thankfully, the offense bailed them out here. But Josh Heupel is one of the best offensive minds in all of college football. Then after that, we had an overtime game. Number 16, Georgia Tech. They were able to avoid the upset, but Wake Forest, they put it at them. They made this game competitive. They were upset-minded. Georgia Tech, they pulled it off. Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, great run game, but I say it all the time. You run King 20-25 times a game. Brutal run, too, because he puts his shoulder down, tries to run people over, tries to truck people. Every single category is going to wear him down. That's not a recipe to win 12 regular season games. Conserve that for when you need him to run competitive games, close games, third and short situations, fourth downs. But outside of that, he's running way too much. You're not going to be able to sustain that over the course of the regular season, because your goal here is not to just have a good season. You have a legit shot to make the ACC championship, potentially a dark horse for the playoffs. Conserve your star quarterback for the love of God. But props to the Yellow Jackets. They continue to roll. They stay undefeated. And then after that, you had Utah State 3-2 playing number 18 Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's going to be playing Alabama. They are undefeated. You know what Diego Pavia did to Alabama last season. Can they do it again back-to-back seasons? I don't know. But Vanderbilt right now, number 18. This offense, they dropped a 70-burger last week. They dropped a 50-burger this week. Where was the defense, though? It was nowhere to be found, but they are scoring a buttload of points. I have never seen a Vanderbilt offense before. In my entire college football, while I've put up these kind of points, if you are a Commodores fan, this is fun football to watch, and maybe their offense will be capable of hanging with Alabama again next week for back-to-back seasons. But you know Alabama, you better not take Vanderbilt for granted when you play them this coming Saturday, or they're going to beat you again. Take them serious, but with the amount of points you're scoring, you have to be taking them serious. That's not really optional. Then after that, you had number 20, Missouri, putting it on the UMass Minutemen. This team hasn't been good since 1776, basically. Missouri, 42-6. They did what they had to do. Perbola, the guy who should probably be starting for the Penn State Nittany Lions, but he left because Drew Aller, for some reason, still has the starting job. Why? We will never know. After that, we had another top 25 upset. Number 21, USC, losing to 23, the Fighting Illini. They had to rebound off that awful performance they had versus Indiana. They were able to pull off the win. They outscored the USC Trojans coming in here with the number 3 offense in all of college football. Mayava, they came back. They were down 14 fourth quarter, came in. They stormed all the way back and took the lead because Lincoln Riley went for 2. But the Fighting Illini, they were at home. They have Luke Altmaier, third year in this system. They were the more physical team. They had that lead. They were able to go right down the field, score when they needed to score. If this game was 1 minute longer, USC would have went right back down the field and scored again. USC, though, was bailed out by a couple costly turnovers from the Fighting Illini. Kind of helped them out, kept them from scoring. 2 turnovers in the red zone, 1 going into the end zone. That cost the Fighting Illini, but ultimately they won, so nothing else matters. USC, though, one of their primary weapons, Lane, didn't play. But how about Lemon? Extremely massive touchdown catches. When they needed to make a catch, he definitely stepped up. This set USC back just a little, but the whole season is still in front of them. They might not be competing for the Big Ten championship this season, but you got the number 1 class coming in next year. You're going to have a lot of momentum next season. Just make sure to at least get to 9 wins this year. Next one, number 22, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They're playing a very rough start to the schedule. After this, things get a lot easier, but this is a really rough first 4 games for them. They went to the SEC, to the Arkansas Razorbacks home, and they beat the living crap out of them. It was a curb stomping. The Notre Dame defense finally showed up for the first time this season. They had the number 3 defense last season. They're giving up like 35 points a game going into this game. They shut down a very high-powered Arkansas offense led by Bobby Petrino. Sam Pittman here, Arkansas, they always lose a lot of really close games every single season. 5 to 6 games a year are 1-possession losses. They compete with everyone they play. Taylon Green coming into this game with 1,300 passing yards, like 400 rushing yards, 14, 15 total touchdowns. They were not able to move the ball versus this Irish defense. The Irish secondary finally showed up. It was supposed to be the best in the nation. They've been getting torched left and right. They showed up this game. Maybe they can keep that momentum going forward. Notre Dame, you still have a path to the playoffs, but it's not optional. You have to win every single game from this point out. 0 room for error. CJ Carr continues to play at a high level, almost 360 yards passing, 4 passing touchdowns. And Love, Pierce dominating the ground game. The offensive line got a lot of push, and they were giving CJ Carr a lot of time to find his targets. And then after that, you had a very close game here that went down to the end. Number 25, BYU 4-0. They beat the crap out of Colorado in the bowl game. This one was a lot closer. They were playing 2-3, the Colorado Buffaloes. They won 24-21, pulled off that touchdown fourth quarter to take the lead, walk away. Obviously, Retzlaff left this team right before the season started, but Bachmeier's come in, young quarterback here, 180 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, threw for 98. So they're not missing Retzlaff right now. They are scoring just enough points. But first, let's just give Colorado some credit. They lost Travis Hunter. They lost Shedeur Sanders, and still they've been putting up a fight a lot of these games, showing some foundational discipline there, showing some depth, the fact that they're actually putting together a decent season. Yes, they're 2-3. That's not a good record, but I like the fact they're showing fight. They have to continue to build that foundation because they were very star-laden last season. The rest of the team did not step up. They were led by their stars. You want your team to lead the way going forward. That's how you have sustained success. Guys, that's just a quick reaction to all of our top 25 games. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, drop them below. Do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on everything that happened this past weekend? A lot of upsets. We had like 4 or 5 top 25 teams go down. We love when that happens. It just makes it that much more fun. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.